there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
What's up, everybody? This is Ethan from Great American Ghost, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Bang your heads.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. And today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Mr. Ethan Harrison. He's the vocalist of Great American Ghost, and Great American Ghost has released their anticipated Torture World EP via Mark Henry, and I know I probably said that wrong on their label. Also, everyone. You want to check out their singles, Kingmaker. Also pick up their albums and EP, Everyone Leaves Us from 2015, Hatred Stems from The Seed in 2017, and the Don't Come Back back EP from 2016, and Power Through Terror from 2019. So get out and check out this band, and they got some great stuff out. So Ethan, man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man? You nailed those. You went right through them. You got all of them. I was very impressed. Yeah, very well done.
So I'm talking about, I took my Flintstone Kids vitamins today. I'm on top of it.
That's good. Yeah, thank God. Thank goodness.
How excited are you guys to finally have Torture World EP released, man? How's it feel to get this out finally?
It feels good, man. It was a long process. It's been done since last February. So it was a long process, just kind of waiting for the right time. You don't want to release something when, obviously you can't leave your home. That's kind of a difficult time to release things, especially when we're trying to sell it in person and push it in person. So
sure,
it's good to finally have it out, and we're really excited about it. We really believe in the songs and love what we did with it. So I'm just happy that people get to finally hear it.
How rough was it though for you guys to set on this EP? I mean, I know at some point you were itching to say, just screw it, let's just put this out there. But how hard was it for you guys just to sit there on this, man?
It was weird. It was definitely strange. I mean, honestly, it was kind of empowering though, because we had something. We had this thing that we knew we wanted to release at some point. So it was kind of the feeling of well, if we don't do it now, we can do it later. We always had this thing in our back pocket. It's a much stranger feeling to have nothing, So the fact that we had material recorded meant that we knew that, we could use that to promote a tour or promote whatever we needed to. I mean, we used it to promote this tour, and whenever anything came back, we were going to get back on top of it. So, yeah, it was good. I feel glad that we had it, that we had it in our back pocket, just waiting to be released.
Here's a crazy question I've asked everybody who's put something out and who's had to set on, putting something out. But were there any songs that you guys worked on that's coming out later on, possibly because of this pandemic, that's not being released to anything?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a ton of songs that there were songs that didn't make it onto Torture because we didn't want to use them. They weren't ready, or we weren't ready to have them worked on. There was a bunch of songs that were written immediately after Torture that are kind of sitting and waiting, that we've been working on with our producer Will Putney. And so there's a bunch of things kind of under the surface here, kind of waiting for us to work on and be able to release. It's exciting. It sucked. I mean, pandemic time was awful, but at least it led to us feeling like we kind of had a more focused future. You know what I mean? I think that we were a lot more planned out now that we've had 2 years to just kind of sit around and realize how much it sucks to not tour.
And it's crazy for me to even say this, but it seems like albums were not rushed, if you know what I mean, that they wouldn't quickly put out. It seems like there was more focus on these songs and the albums that came out of this pandemic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we all kind of had a feeling in the industry, I mean, even just like last May, it was like nothing. We were pretty convinced nothing was going to happen. We didn't know like when anything was going to come back, and it kept getting pushed. I just remember people being like, yeah, it's looking more like 2022. And then it was like, well, maybe 2023. And it was like feeling crazy. So yeah, no one was rushing anything. We all kind of just made our thing and waited for the right time to release it. And that's kind of what we were lucky enough to do. And I know a lot of other bands that have done the same thing. A lot of bands have a lot of stuff that they're just like sitting on still.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy to see what comes out, especially during this pandemic. And even if it even sees a light of day, which I think it should.
I mean, I think everything will. I think everybody, put a lot of effort into it. And like you said, I just remember like Will was busier than he's ever been during the pandemic. So, there are a lot of records just waiting to be released for the right time,
Yeah, Fit for an Autopsy. I think they just came out with one not long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, about two Fridays ago, 2 weeks ago today, they came out with one when we were in Seattle, and it did really well. They did that over the pandemic. So yeah, we've been working. We all been working, dog.
So him doing his producing wise, and then plus Fit for an Autopsy, it's a crazy time right now.
Yeah,
so
he's a busy boy.
Torture World has a dual meaning. Some songs on the EP are extremely political, and there are some extremely personal songs. So how did all this come together? Which songs, didn't want to bleed over as far as political into personal? How did y'all work this out possibly? Or did it just fell right into place?
It just kind of fell into place, honestly. Like I just wrote what lyrics I felt in the moment. And I didn't really worry about like what, meaning they held, or if I wanted to like have like a through line on the whole EP. Like I just wrote what I felt, and some of the songs were really political and some of them were really personal. They all had the same like kind of hopeless feel, because the pandemic was just that. It was very hopeless, and it was at times it was really difficult to get through. So I feel like we were lucky enough to have like a lot of songs that were just like 100% authentic to that time, whether it be political or it be emotional or be like what I was going through just personally. So, we tried our best to take advantage of the time that we were living in, basically.
Ethan, how big of an influence was Nine Inch Nails and industrial music on the creation of Kingmaker?
It was huge. Yeah, I really like Nine Inch Nails. I've always really liked Nine Inch Nails a lot. My brother was really into it. He had like a middle part in his hair when we were younger, and he was really weird to play magic cards. So he fucked with I don't know if I can swear on I don't know what I can do here, but I just swore. So here we are. He was really into Nine Inch Nails, and he was really into industrial music and stuff. So he like showed me that at a very young age. So I've always just like harbored this love for that band. I also think that like what they do just with their entire like brand is cool, and I've always liked them a lot. And so Nico and I were kind of talking, and he was talking about how much he loves Rammstein, which is like just an industrial metal band.
Yes.
And I was like, that's cool. I really like Nine Inch Nails. And he was like, all right, I'll listen to Nine Inch Nails. And I listened to Rammstein on his behalf. And then we kind of realized that we were both kind of listening to like the same type of stuff at the same time. And so we were like, cool, let's try and do some new stuff. The new record that we're going to write is going to have a lot more of that stuff. Like we've really like found something that we really enjoy exploring. So I would expect a lot more of that.
Now, I know you just released the EP, and I know this is just brand new stuff, but how long you guys go wait for the actual full length to come in? Wait another year or so, or how long?
I want to make it as soon as possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that'll happen.
Right.
We've had a lot of time to write and to do things. We did just get a new guitar player. His name is Grayson Stewart, and so he's going to change the whole dynamic. We have to write stuff with him and figure out where we all land in that new dynamic of this band. So there's going to be stuff that needs to get done, but if it were me, I'd really like to release a new record sometime in 2023. And so that's the goal right now. That's where I'm at.
So what's Grayson brought to this band, man, that might have been missing? Not knocking the other guitarists or anything like that at all. I mean, you add pieces and you subtract pieces, and what's he brought to this band, man?
Grayson has brought a dynamic where I really like things that have feel. Like I like the feel of things, like I'll I'll love it when a band has like a couple minutes of feedback to build up tension, like those not so planned aspects of being in a band. I always really like the Chariot, and I've always liked bands like that, or like Trap Them, or bands that like used tension to make their music better. And Nico is really technical, so he wants things to be just such a way, and in this like extremely clean setup, and him and I like kind of complement each other in that way. But Grayson likes both, so he kind of helps bridge the gap between Nico and I. So there's like already things that Gray does that Nico would never do, and there are things that Gray does that I would never let Nico do, or I would argue with him to not do. Like, it's good to have Grayson because he kind of, again, he bridges the gap between Nico and I, and he's been really helpful in that way. And I'm really excited to have him write. I know there's going to be like a lot of weirdness that happens because he's there, and I know there's going to be a lot of like, at heart he's a metal guy, so he just loves like technical metal. So I think that he's going to bring us closer to our goal of being, Meshuggah with like choruses, which is basically what we are.
I know you talked about this just for a little bit, just a minute ago, but what's impressed or excited you the most about creating the debut single Kingmaker, if anything, man? What sticks out the most about it? I know you took some flavors from Nine Inch Nails and industrial music, but for you, what's impressed you the most about this single?
I think that what I liked the most was that there were a lot of things that we did in it that we've never done, and it happened really naturally. Like, we didn't really force anything. We just did a lot of different stuff, like completely naturally. That industrial aspect of the song just kind of like happened. We just liked it and we did it. And then there's certain vocal tricks that we did that we just wanted to try, and we pulled it off. And I think that the thing that excites me the most about it is that it sounds like what I hear in my head as Great American Ghost, and it sounds I think to Nico as well, it sounds like what he hears as Great American Ghost, and to Davier, it sounds like Great American Ghost to him as well. Like, I think it's the most that we've coalesced on a song, and that's exciting because now moving forward, we can make a record of exactly what we want to be, and that's kind of that's how I feel after making Kingmaker. So I feel very, very fortunate that we got to do it.
So you guys played your first show in 18 months during all this pandemic stuff, man. What was your thoughts going through that? Because you didn't even know if there's going to be a crowd there, not even 10, 15 people. But what was your thoughts going into that?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was strange. I mean, it was just strange to like see that many people like in person, I guess, because I don't like go to restaurants or bars or anything like while we were in lockdown. I like really was locked down. So it was just strange to go from like no social interaction to seeing like, I think we played in front of like 4,000 or 5,000 people that day. So that was wild alone, and then just like feeling that energy, like as a human being, I don't think you realize how much you need like human interaction just to be like normal, and we were all kind of lacking that. And then we did that show, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like to be able to play in front of other human beings. And it was pretty wild. It definitely set us on a course. It was like, I don't know, it like triggered something in all of us that it was like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, let's go, no more bullshit, no more waiting around for 2 years. It's like, it's kind of on now. So it was a very special experience. I feel really fortunate that the Ghost Inside asked us to do it. So I'm happy. I'm excited about it.
I think you're 1,000% right, because when you're in that lockdown and you don't have that interaction with human beings other than your family, it sets your mind back, if that makes sense. It's kind of like starting all over, taking baby steps on how do you greet somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, no, it's weird. It was super weird. And It was like, you don't know how to like approach people that you've known for like 20 years. Like you don't, it was like we were all seeing each other before we even played, and everybody was there. And the guys from the Acacia Strain, and like, the guys from ETID, who we've known for years and years and years. And it was kind of like, do I go up and like address this person? Like, I haven't seen them in 2 years. It's just so odd. Like, humans aren't meant to be like locked down in that way. It's just not how it's supposed to be. But I mean, necessary nonetheless.
What does a Great American Ghost still bring to the table for music, man? That's not out there as of right now, if anything.
What do we bring?
Yeah. What does yeah.
I think that Great American Ghost, I think that we just try to bring like no nonsense metal music to people. I think that that's what we've always tried to do. It's like, everything that we do is pretty it's pretty pop structured, it's like pretty straightforward. We're just trying to like make the best song that we can possibly make and do the things that we want to hear in a band. And so, if you ask me what Great American Ghost brings to metal, I think it's just that we just try to, no frills, no bullshit. We just try to do the stuff that we love. That's pretty much it. So if other people can relate to it, then that's great. And that's kind of what we want. Otherwise, we're basically just making art for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I want to step back here for just a few moments. On this EP, are there any songs that stick out for you personally, possibly? Because I know, you've got your own songs that you like on it, but are there any that stick out for you? Because I know it changes every day.
Yeah. I think that the song that's sticking out for me the most since we released it is Death Forgives No One, because when we made the EP, I hated that song. Like, very much. I really, really disliked it.
Yeah.
And so now that it's out and I can like hear it, it's made me realize that I probably just hated it because it was really difficult for me to write. And that's not a great reason for me to hate something, I guess. And so to see people like responding to it kind of made me realize that maybe like the work that I put into it was worthwhile, and that I was probably unfounded in the fact that I absolutely hated it. I just hated it because I had to rewrite the chorus like 9 times. So that was really the only reason that I was so mad about it.
That was going to be my next question, man. Was there a song that was brought to the table that took a 360-degree turn that kept changing and changing? Was that the one?
That Womb is the one that changed the most. Death didn't really change at all. Womb changed a ton. That would be the one that like we rewrote a bunch of times and moved everything around and stuff. Kingmaker is exactly how you when Nico wrote it and sent it to me. That's exactly how it is on the record.
Yeah.
Torture World is the exact same way, and Death is actually probably the exact same way. Womb is the only one that we really messed with like a lot, and it came out to be one of my favorite ones, to be honest with you.
But it's so weird, man. And I like how music is art, totally art. How somebody can take a song that's totally meant for something else, and they take it and they interpret it in their own way, and it's their survival song. It's their survival music, man.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing about it. That's absolutely 100% the best thing about it. If somebody takes something that I wrote and applies it to their own life, and it helps them through any certain situation, even if I write a song about, I write a song about QAnon and how I disagree with it fundamentally. If they take it and they apply it to something that they're going through, then I've accomplished what I need to accomplish. I don't need them to necessarily take exactly what I got out of it. That's not really the point. It's like you said, like music is an art form. It's also like a living art form. It's like always changing and moving. So it's obviously it's my favorite art form. I don't really paint, so I just like make music, which is tight, which is way better.
But has it happened to you guys? And if so, man, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I know you just elaborate on it a little bit, but does that like catch you from like left field? Like, wow, I never intended that song to be that way.
Yeah, sometimes that song, we have a song called Ann Arbor that people like have come up and said that is about like, they're like, oh man, that's me and my girlfriend's song. And I think that that's funny because I wrote it about like not liking my ex-girlfriend very much. Not disliking her, but like us breaking apart essentially. So it's like interesting that somebody would take what I wrote as the exact opposite of what I wrote, but that's fine. Whatever makes them feel, joy brings me joy.
Do you see this band still musically growing from the band's 2015 debuted. Everyone leaves us. If so, what is that growth, Ethan, that you see from this band and yourself possibly?
Yeah, it's definitely way different. It's completely changed. I mean, we're a completely different band. The only person that's still in the band is me, A. And B, I think that we have a direction. I think that with Everyone Leaves, I don't think we really had a direction. We were just kind of making stuff that we thought sounded cool. And now with Torture, it feels more like we have like a plan and we know what we want to be. Like, again, we want to be a death metal band with choruses. So that's kind of where we're at.
How was working with producer Will Putney of Fit for an Autopsy, who's worked with A Day to Remember, Knocked Loose, and The Amity Affliction, man? How was working with him on this?
It's great. Working with Will is interesting always. Will's one of my closest friends. So it's interesting to just like go there and do like business stuff as opposed to just like hanging out with him, I guess. But Will is really good at separating your like friendship from his professional relationship. So it's grueling though. Like if something isn't gonna make it, Will just tell you. Like he'll just be like, no, that sucks. Like that's not good, or like you need to change that, or you need to rewrite that. There's like a lot of stuff about him like writing songs for bands, but that's not what Will does. Will just tells you what your weakest point is, and then you have to rewrite it. And if you don't rewrite it, then that's your problem. Like he's fine with that, but he's telling you, you paid him to tell you what he thinks, and he will absolutely always tell you exactly what he thinks. And so it's definitely it's grueling. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end.
And it's cool working with somebody that you've worked with previously, because he handled the band's 2019 full-length Power Through Terror. So, yeah, you know, working with him, that's good to have somebody that knows exactly what you guys want and they're not going to waste your time.
Yeah, there's no like awkward phase where like, I mean, Will's not really the awkward phase type, but like there's no awkward phase where you need to get to know the guy. Yeah. Like for us, we just walk in and like we just know how Will's going to be. He's also our manager, so like I speak to him every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's really no different. It's just like I just show up and now I'm there and we're recording rather than him calling me and telling me, you know, whatever we have to know for the day, you know. So it is definitely interesting. It's like I said, it's grueling. The guy isn't the biggest name in metal for no reason.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to this new single or any of Great American Ghost music in general, man? What do you hope they get from it?
I hope that they decide that we're their new favorite band and that they will follow us to the ends of the earth. That's what I hope that they decide.
I know you have a lot of music that you listen to, Ethan, but do you still have that go-to album or just maybe a song that you find yourself gravitating back to? You have to have it, you know, to listen to every couple of weeks or months or something like that.
Yeah, I listen to Taylor Swift as often as humanly possible. It's true. It's not a joke. I listen to Taylor Swift a lot. Yeah. No, I really love Taylor Swift a lot.
What's it about her music that draws you to it, man?
She's a great songwriter. She's the Bob Dylan of our generation. Which people are not going to agree with me on, but they're wrong. So that's up to them, I guess.
What has been your best musical moment that you still can't believe you or this band was part of, or maybe even worked with, possibly? What's been that moment so far?
There have been a lot of them. I like playing that Ghost Inside show was definitely one of them. I remember in 2017, we had heard that the guys in Gojira liked our band or whatever. And they are all really, really nice guys. And they like posted about it on the internet. We were like, oh, okay, cool. And then like 2 weeks later, they were playing in Connecticut, which is like our home venue. And like, long story short, they essentially reached out to us through people we knew to play a show with them. Like they just wanted us to play with them. And they made it all happen. Like they did everything and we showed up and like they were just the nicest guys in the world. And we played a show with Gojira in the middle of the country because they made literally all because of them making it happen. And it was like, that was probably the highest point. It was just wild. Like having a band that is that important, in my opinion, to music, like take notice of your band is it's a really special thing. So that was probably it. And there's lots of other ones, you know, like working with Will is always special. You know, Will is a generational talent. So it's it's all pretty crazy. As things progress, like things just get wilder and wilder, and there's just no two ways around it. You're just like, I don't know. It's just being in a band is wild.
Ethan, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy this new EP, these singles, everything with Great American Ghost. How can they do that, my friend?
tortureworld.com has everything. Whatever you need from us, our merch, our records, our vinyl, you can buy them now. They're all available. You can go on our Spotify, which is just Great American Ghost. Our Instagram is @GreatAmericanGhost. Otherwise, that's it. Just follow us on the gram and follow us on Spotify, and let's do this thing.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
I will happily do a promo for your show. What's up, everybody? This is Ethan from Great American Ghost, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Bang your heads.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and please subscribe to the YouTube link, folks, because we got a lot of great stuff that's coming up. Please get out and check out Great American Ghost. Pick up their EP, Torture World, all their good stuff, their albums I mentioned, in the interview. Give this band a fair shot. I'm telling you, you will like these guys. They have some amazing music out there. And I'm not saying that just because Ethan's on here, but Great American Ghost is a hell of a band. So kudos to you all, Ethan, for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Folks, stay tuned. We'll have some more stuff next time here on BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Ethan, thank you so much for doing the interview, my man.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. I hope I see you at a show sometime.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.